And the crowd goes wild.
Hell yeah.
For the
baby.
last episode of season 2 of Rats Get Fat.
Hell yeah, dude.
I'm joined by my good friend Zuzz.
Zuzzy Bum Bum.
He's here. And for those that don't know me, I'm Jake Straat. For everyone who has watched all the way through to this is episode 20.
Yeah.
Thank you. For everyone watching at home,
Thanks so much.
we
You know-
see you.
Yeah, you know who you are.
Pat yourself on the back.
Yeah. Please. 20 episodes. How crazy is that?
Yep.
It's kind of gone by pretty quick. I don't know, when did we start this? It hasn't been really that long in the grand scheme of things.
No, it's not
like-
long at all.
It was like early this year we started it, and it's just been absolutely chock-a-block packed.
It's been chaos. This is the first season I feel was growing pains,
Yeah.
and we were learning how to kind of conduct ourselves and how to get ourselves in like a manageable function for this podcast.
Yep.
The second season, I feel we did much better. It was way smoother.
Yeah.
And season 3, there's big things coming anyway.
Oh, 100%. It's gonna be wild. we've already got it kind of planned out. We've got people lined up. You guys don't even know.
It's something really, really special is coming for everyone listening and everyone watching. We can't wait to announce what we're actually doing, but this little humble podcast is it's taken a big step forward.
Yeah, because we just started it it was kind of impromptu what we did. We kind of talked about it here and there. And I remember you came up to one day at the end of work. You're like, let's do a podcast. You want to do a podcast? And I was like, yeah, fuck it. Let's do it. And within a week, you got all the equipment and stuff sorted, and we just recorded it. We did a little test episode just to like kind of come to grips with it. And then we just thought, fuck it. We'll just do it and see what happens. And yeah, we got a whole season just smashed out week after week after week. And kind of just figured it out as we were going. I think we did pretty well.
For season 1?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then season 2, we had the opportunity come up that we were going down to the Gold Coast for the Made to Suit exhibition, which we were both involved in. And driving down for it, we thought, fuck it, let's just take the opportunity while we can, and we'll just take our podcast gear on the road and record it, find artists that we, are friends with along the way, and we'll just hit them up,
We'd driven so far. We drove the whole entire east coast of Australia, which was upwards of like 100 hours total driving.
Yeah.
It was hectic,
It was pretty crazy.
but we did it so you could enjoy this podcast
Yeah.
and hear a few of the tales that we got done.
It was really, really, really fun and really insightful. We had some really cool guests on. I think one of my favorites of the season was probably Pete Davidson.
Pete Davidson down in Casino, New South Wales.
So lovely.
Yep, he was an absolute gentleman, wasn't he?
Yeah, he really was. He was like super respectful and really nice. You never know what to kind of expect with the older tattooers.
Yep.
Some of them are real rough and tumble and like kind of grumpy, but he was like the nicest fella.
He was amazing.
Yeah, he's kind of like what I aspire to be like when I'm an old man. I'm an old tattooer.
Yep,
You know?
100%.
So sick.
It was interesting because I just came back from the Sydney Tattoo Convention
Yeah.
at Town Hall, and it was the craziest 3 days of my life. But I had like maybe 100 different people that I'd never met before, come up to me and say, "Hey, man, really wanted to meet you. I've listened to your podcast. It's not all of the podcast."
It's bananas, man.
So it's like within these like 2 seasons, these 20 episodes that we've recorded and now released, like it's just insane, man. Like we did not expect any sort of we didn't expect this to happen anyway.
Yeah, the kind of traction we've gotten with it and the enthusiasm and interest has been absolutely unreal. We're really, really stoked with how it's going. It's crazy. We've gotten like clients coming into the shop saying, "Oh yeah, I've listened to every episode," and like they start talking about like our stories and shit, and it feels so strange. It feels like they already know you, you know?
Yeah, we've had people show up because they'd heard us on the podcast and then go about coming and getting tattooed.
It's sick.
It's insane. It's blowing my mind.
Yeah, like even we went and did some traveling and tattooing with Matt Van Herten and Mickey McLeod, and Mickey was like, "I feel like I already know you, man." I'm like, "This is
Yeah.
crazy."
Shout out to Mickey at Carlisle.
Mickey,
Best trad tats in Melbourne.
yeah, he's a funny dude.
Best dude.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. So cool, and I'm really, really looking forward to the next season and what we do with it.
We're probably going to have a little bit of a break before we release the next season, just to give ourselves enough time to pre-record everything, pre-edit everything, and then we'll start sort of, I think, posting it up maybe early next year.
For sure.
We've been burning the candle at both ends for a long time now.
Yeah, with all the traveling and stuff, it's a lot. Like on the back end of it, it's not just recording, but like the editing side of things, which you've been doing.
Yep.
You've gotten really fast at it, but it's a lot. Like getting them out every week.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think going forward, we're gonna just fine tune the kind of logistics side of things and all the background work.
It's good to I've learned how to like edit them really well, like when I'm on flights.
Yeah.
So I've been like, in the last couple of months, I've been on fucking, I don't know, 10 different flights, and I've been editing them on the flights.
Yeah, I've tried to do a little bit of editing. I suck at it. I don't know.
Takes ages.
I think I'm just like, I'm really meticulous at that shit, and it just takes me so long, and I click the wrong thing. I don't know. I feel like an old man when it comes to that kind of shit. But yeah, you've been doing so well with it.
Thank you, man.
Really appreciate it.
If you're not watching on YouTube, I know a lot of people just listen on Spotify.
Yeah.
Spotify gets most of the hits. But if you're not watching on YouTube, you're missing out because there's loads of cool little editing I do, and I throw pictures up and videos and you name it. So
100%.
jump on YouTube and give it a watch anyway.
Most of the time spent editing goes into the video. Putting in like photographs as well of like, we've had so many old school tattooers on, and they always show us like their first tattoo or like specific tattoos, and we always put a photo up. It's I don't know, it's another thing getting to watch it. I don't always get the chance to watch it. Whenever I do listen to the podcast, I'm usually painting or something. But every now and then I've treated myself, and it's funny as getting to watch us talk our thing.
So pretty much for this last episode of season 2, I wanted to sort of celebrate a little bit and do a quick summary and a recap of some episodes that we've just done in season 2.
Yeah. It's we've kind of structured it so that we kind of open and close every season. I don't know. It's like a nice, neat sandwich for you guys. Yeah. And the people are in the middle.
Yeah, the little meat sandwich. And we're the bread.
Yeah, we're definitely the bread.
But I feel like if I was the bread, I'd be like when you like all the bread's gone and it's just these two like horrible ends.
Oh yeah,
in the
end
bag.
pieces.
Yeah, I feel like an end piece.
Yeah, some people really like those, eh?
Really?
I think they're gross. They're all cup crust.
Despicable.
Yeah.
What do you fucking do with that shit?
I don't know.
Some crust.
Some people go for it big time.
Filth. Our first episode was obviously you and I, so let's not worry about talking about that.
No.
Our second episode of the season was with Genji down in Townsville.
Genji. That was really fun. That was a big day as well.
That was a big day.
Holy. Because we interviewed Les earlier that day. I think we woke up at like 4 a.m.
Yep.
And then belted down to Townsville, spoke to Les, and then went back and went to the Dead Man's Hand and spoke to Genji.
Yep. Set up in the Dead Man's Hand and had a podcast with the Genge.
Yeah. What a ledge.
Pure ledge. That was a great episode.
Yeah. 100%. He's a funny dude.
I was a bit devo though, like our camera equipment didn't work for the episode, so we had to record it on an iPhone. So the quality and like the perspective was like, it's the only video that we've done on an iPhone, not on our video camera, and the perspective's totally off. And I'm kind of sitting on the side, and it kind of like drags me out, and I look really weirdly like
warped.
I look like I look like a little toad or something.
Yeah.
It's horrible. So don't jump on that episode and watch that one. That's the only one you shouldn't watch.
You definitely should.
Anyway, we've learnt, haven't we? And we've now got multiple SD cards. So if something does happen, we can bounce back.
Yeah, it was some weird formatting thing. You know, there's always random things that come along. It's a lot of problem solving, and we were like on a time restraint, so we couldn't really just run down to the shop and get a new SD card.
No, and I remember traveling home as well that night.
Dude.
It was smashing down with rain, and so we had to go at like 60 kilometers the whole way home from Townsville to Cairns, which
Yeah.
is normally on a good day it's about 3.5 hours, but it took us like maybe 5 hours.
Yeah, it was super, super sketch. We were like, I was kind of paranoid that we were going to get flooded or something like that. It was like some huge, just masses of water. Because you know how like, it's like down in Ingham and shit. That place floods all the time.
Yep.
Oh, there's any like strong rain and that place floods, and it was belting down.
It was crazy.
It was unreal, but we made it back alive. But
The things we do for this podcast though,
100%.
like total behind the scenes. Like I'd love to bring a camera person on board with this and
yeah.
film behind the scenes because it was out of control. You and me were both like a bit panicked driving home.
It was so scary.
The car was full water aquaplaning.
Yeah. 100%.
I thought, oh, well, I hope we don't die for the sake of recording
Yeah.
2 podcasts.
Yeah, we were driving like super slow.
Yeah.
I think it turned a 4-hour drive into like 6 hours or something.
Okay. Our next episode was with Zara Ryan.
Yeah, Zara. That was fun. We were down the Gold Coast for that. I think that was maybe a little bit after the Made the Suit.
That was quite impromptu as well.
Yeah.
Now, we had a little holiday booked on the Gold Coast after the Made the Suit exhibition. And we ran into Zara. Well, we caught up over dinner and we said to her, we were like, oh, we brought all our podcasting gear. We'd love to talk to you. She's been a very good friend of ours for a long time. And she's like, hell yeah, man. When do you guys want to do it? And like the only time we had was like really, really early the next day.
Yeah.
So we made our way out to Tullabudgera
Yeah.
to Zara's and we set up in her office
Yeah.
and we had a hell of a
It was
an episode.
It was a really fun chat. It was like, yeah, in our office / bedrooms. It was like really, really tight space. So I'm like, we're sitting down and then she's on a big stool and it was very fun.
She looked like Gandalf and we were the hobbits.
Yeah. We felt like two little hobbit men. It
Yep.
was fun. It was a really, really sick episode. I really enjoyed that chat.
Yeah, it was good. If you haven't heard the Zara episode, jump on and give it a listen.
Yeah.
Give her a follow on Instagram. She is an absolute lord
Yeah.
and a really talented tattooer. And I found her episode was one of my favorites.
Yeah. I actually just listened to it yesterday while I was painting. And yeah, it was super fun. It was super sweet. We talked about a lot of stuff. We kind of touched on like AI as well towards the end. That was super fun.
Yes, interesting, eh?
Yeah.
Have you noticed I've actually been talking to lots of tattooers about AI?
Yeah. It's a really interesting subject.
I find a lot of tattooers are quite closed off when it comes to the idea of AI.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I find it interesting hearing their opinions about it.
I think a lot of people in the arts in general are like quite closed off from it because it takes so many jobs. I think like us being tattooers and that being such a physical thing, like I'm not too worried about it at the moment, to be honest. Like until they can make a fucking machine that like can tattoo a human body and work with all those like weird shapes that people come with, like we're fine.
But would you, so me personally, I don't get tattooed just for the sake of getting a tattoo. I get tattooed for the experience of getting a tattoo. Like in our Rachie Brains episode, we talk about when she tattooed me and I said to her, just tattoo whatever you want on me. I actually don't care what it looks like. I don't care what it is. It's more about the experience of being in the chair and getting a tattoo from that person. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
So it's interesting because I think if computers could create tattoos, me personally, I wouldn't actually even go there to get a tattoo from that fucking machine. I'd still go to a person because it's not even about getting the tattoo. It's like the people that are getting knocked out to get tattoos.
Oh yeah.
It's like, okay, dude, you're decimating the entire experience of getting a tattoo. Like it's meant to be about the process and hanging out and listening to music and talking to the tattooer and everything. It's not just about wearing a tattoo. Like the tattoo is
100%.
just a bonus at the end.
Yeah. I feel like, yeah, there's always different people. It depends on their motivations behind it. Some people just want to get tattoos to be tattooed. You know, they want to have the kind of the look of being tattooed. And I guess those are the kinds of people that gravitate towards that kind of stuff. It's the people that go, you know, I guess to Bali, say, and like
Sure.
get drugged up and get a back piece in 2 days, you know.
Sure.
heard so many stories of that, and like, where's the fun in that? You know, the process of getting a back piece, it's a fucking slog, but it's what makes it so rewarding at the end, you know?
100%.
And you're sitting there hanging out, getting fucking hurt, suffering, you know, but it means you can like, I know, you wrap that shit and you're like, fuck yeah, I've like, for mine per se, it was like what, 35 hours or something, you
Yep.
know, and you get like, yeah, fucking 35 hours of pure joy. And I feel like it would be a bit of a cop out if I was like, oh yeah, I got it done in 2 days and didn't feel it. It was pretty sweet.
For sure. Those clients would then gravitate to like the machinery
Maybe.
tattoos.
Maybe, you know, they'd probably be stoked, you know, that a machine can get it done pretty super quick and
Super accurate and perfect.
yeah. But I don't know. Everyone's got their own motivations behind that stuff.
For sure.
But yeah, the purist will always get tattooed by people.
Yeah, man. It's what it's all about. Greg Against, episode 4.
Dude, what a man.
Hey, Greg. Best guy ever.
What a ledge. He's like, I don't know. He's like one of the funniest people I've ever met.
100%.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to be wilder than he was. Anyone who knows Greg knows how wild this man can get. And
Dude's got a wicked sense of humor. But he probably toned it down, I guess.
he was
you
so
know?
well behaved for our podcast.
Understandable, mate. That's more than fair.
Yes, 100%. But we drove all the way down to Brisbane to talk to Greg and then Rach.
Yep.
And we showed up at like 8 p.m. or something at the shop, and they both weren't very keen to do the podcast because of the time.
Yeah.
And we were running totally late.
100%.
So we got it at about like 6 in the morning. We got up at 6 and we were in the tattoo shop by 7, and we recorded 2 podcasts back to back.
Yeah.
One with Greg first, which was episode 4, and then one with Rach, which we released a bit later on in the season, just so it wasn't so pushed together.
Yeah, exactly. But it was a fun day. Because we originally meant to be staying in Rockhampton for an extra night. And we were going to tattoo one of our mates out of we're going to talk to one of our mates out there.
Yes.
Zenobia, and she ended up getting sick.
Yep, she was crook.
She ended up being crook. So we had to kind of shake it up and be like, all right, we'll just head down to Brisbane and fucking see if we can get Rachie and Greg. And they were keen.
Well, we were going to talk to them anyway,
Yeah.
but it gave us an extra 24-hour leeway where, it was perfect.
Worked out really, really well. So yeah, we stayed with them the night and then got up nice and early and went to the shop and did 2 really, really sweet podcast episodes.
For the first time in podcasting history with Rats Get Fat, I am a morning person, and we were drinking very strong coffee to stay awake for Greg's episode. Now, this is the first episode in the Rats Get Fat entirety that I actually had to run away halfway through to go to the toilet.
Yeah.
And I was busting, and I thought, I'll hold on. And then I looked at the time, and we were only 20 minutes in, and I thought, nope.
I think it was pretty seamless.
I tried to make it seamless, but I kind of like, in the edit and stuff, I kind of cut myself out for like a good, maybe about 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And you hear the back door of Black Throne go, and you hear me scuttle in, scuttle out.
Hell yeah. Yeah, Greg and I were having a good chat while you were releasing
some demons. Yeah. Yep. That was the first episode that I've had to I couldn't stop, couldn't hold it.
Hell yeah, dude.
The morning coffee. Damn.
Yeah, it just gets everything going, you know?
Man, I'm like a well-oiled machine.
I think you were also recovering from that sickness, the Singapore sickness.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that fucked up all your bowels.
My voice was real husky in all those
Yeah.
episodes. In all those really early episodes, I'm super husky. But anyway, if you watch back to the Greg episode, you'll hear me get up and exit the room, and I return shortly after.
Yeah, that's a little Easter egg for you guys to spot.
And I missed out on like 15 minutes of Greg's conversation. So actually, when I listened back and edited the episode, I was like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, you finally caught up on that conversation.
I said, yep, that was definitely something that I'd missed out on.
Yeah, that was really fun. It was cool talking to him about like kind of the hardcore scene in Brizzy when he was younger, and like I don't know, him talking about going into Mo's shop on
And
bloody-
getting chased out.
Yeah, getting chased out. That's crazy.
Looking at the flash and getting chased out.
Yeah. God, it's so good.
It was really interesting, actually. I was just in at Louis Lou's in Terrigal a couple of days ago, up on the central coast of Sydney.
Yep.
And there was a gentleman there, and he had a bunch of old tattoos. And he had some tattoos that were made at Stone's Corner.
Oh, sick.
And I said, "Oh, do you remember the bloke's name?" And he couldn't remember the guy's name, but I thought it could potentially be an old Mo Webley tattoo from like the 80s.
Yeah.
It was had some really, really cool motifs all over his body.
Yeah, we've met a few people that have been tattooed at Stone's Corner. A lot of them haven't been tattooed by Mo, they were tattooed by other people there, but I don't know, really, really cool piece of Brisbane history there.
Because Mo had moved up here and left the shop open,
Yep.
and he had two guys working there.
Yeah.
And apparently they ran amok.
Yeah. Crazy.
Oh, episode 6, we spoke to Chris Van in Yeppoon. That was a sick episode.
That was really, really fun too. That was on our way back up from the Gold Coast. We like stopped in at Yeppoon. Beautiful place. Really, really nice place, Yeppoon.
Yeah.
And yeah, we just jumped straight into it, had a chat with Chris.
Yeah,
He's
it
a
was
cool
sick.
dude.
That was a really good episode.
Yeah.
Um,
He's got a good voice.
I found it was very soothing.
Yeah.
When I was kind of editing it, I was like, oh, this is very nice.
Yeah. He'd be like really good for like reading audiobooks or something. He's got a very silky smooth voice.
Yeah. Damn, it was sick. It was such a great episode. Because I've been going to that shop for years and years now.
Yeah.
And working there. And those guys are just, they're both awesome. Gav and Chris are
Yeah.
both the guys that work there.
They just completely fly under the radar and do their own thing. And yeah, really, they got some really, really interesting like kind of views and opinions. It's real old school.
Yep.
Like Chris posts every single tattoo that he does. It's just
Yeah.
crazy, you know?
Yeah, it blew my mind when he told me that years
Yeah.
ago. I was like, what? No
Yeah.
way.
That's interesting. Like a lot of people have a very kind of tactical layout of their Instagram, you know. It's all very consistent and like the same style of what they want to do and stuff. He's a very like open book with what he does.
Yep.
You know, whether it's, you know, the size of a 50-cent coin or a big back piece, he'll post it all, which is crazy. It's
I
cool.
got a lot of DMs about that episode with people, with tattooers saying how like refreshing that was.
Yeah.
The fact that like, yes, it is manicured and pedicured our Instagram pages, including my own.
Yeah.
You know, I only post what I want to come to me, mostly color, mostly trad, you know, et cetera, et cetera. But, you know, I think that a lot of people, yeah, like they are capable of doing a lot of other tattooing, and they might feel maybe that they can't post everything or whatever. But I got a lot of people messaging me saying how refreshing that was, that Chris was open to doing that and has done that, you know, and it's sick. It's like potentially going to inspire other people to do that.
Yeah, it was really fascinating. He's a really cool dude. I'm keen to see him at SEQ later on this year.
Yeah, anyone coming to the Southeast Queensland convention, come up to Chris and say g'day.
Yeah.
He won't bite you. He's a super nice, pretty quiet guy. So
Yeah.
he probably won't say hi to you, but you got to say hi to him.
Yeah.
We're going to try and drag him down into the dungeon with us.
Yeah.
And we're going to have a sick expo.
Yeah.
But make sure if you see him there, say g'day, shake his hand.
Yeah.
And yeah, buy him a beer or something.
Yeah. Try get a tattoo off him. He's really, really, really talented. He's a really, really great tattooer.
100%.
Yeah. He's tattooed a lot of stuff on you. Did like the back of your head and
Yep.
the top. Crazy.
Yeah, he's tattooed most of my head. He's tattooed a bit on my back, a little bit on my front.
Yeah.
Unreal. Yeah, really, really sick and solid tattooer.
Mm.
So say good day to him because, he is the man.
Hell yeah, dude.
Episode 7, we kind of touched on this before. Pete Davidson.
Yeah. Holy.
Damn.
What an honor to get the chance to talk to him.
What a mission.
It was
down
so
to
sick.
Casino, New South Wales.
It's a really, really nice down there.
Beautiful.
We were like, woke up nice and early. We were like staying at Benji's place, and we got up at like 8 a.m. and then cruised down to Casino. It was a really, really lovely drive down there. It reminded me of the Tablelands. It was super like hilly and grassland stuff. It was so nice.
Speaking of Benji, I'm so sorry. I'm just going down on my phone. Benji Tobin was episode 5. We skipped right past him.
That's
Let's
okay.
bring up Benji.
Yeah.
Now, Benji was kind enough to have us in his home.
Mm-hmm.
He put us up at his place.
Yeah.
We had a really sick night with him. We talked to him on the podcast.
Yep.
His episode was great. A lot of like old school tattooing talk.
Yeah. Yeah. People were really stoked on that as episode as well. We got a lot of like, you know, a lot of shares and a lot of feedback for that one. It was sick. People were stoked on the stories.
I think Benji is like a really slept on tattooer as well. He kind of flies under the radar and just does his own thing. And he's got this really cool like way of doing traditional tattooing.
Yeah.
It's like it's almost like neo-traditional, but it's not. And it's so sick. I love what he does.
Yeah, like yeah, because we were staying with him because he was hosting Made to Suit, and we were sleeping on his floor and stuff. And we got there, and his place is just chock-a-block full of paintings, his own paintings. The dude just eats, sleeps, tattoos, and paints. That's it.
Yep.
Crazy. He was showing us big stacks. It took us like an hour to go through and then look at all his paintings he's got. And that's not even all of them. He said, oh, yeah, well, I've got a whole bunch of them at the bloody print shop and stuff getting scanned and crazy.
And his wall, every single wall was just framed with all his art. There was just art everywhere.
And big scale stuff. It was like big paintings.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, no, you just look at it and you're like, fuck, I feel like such a lazy cunt.
Yes.
But it's cool. It's really inspiring.
It 100% is. And for a tattooer of his caliber to be open-minded enough to let a pair of younger tattooers kind of come into his home and like learn a little bit from him, do a little bit of podcasting. I slept on the floor of sort of where a few tattoos have been made and stuff. And it was sick, man. It's a little bit of Australian tattoo history there.
Yeah. I was sleeping in the lounge room.
And I was kind of hoping to absorb a little bit of it, you know?
Yeah.
But super generous. Thank you, Benji, for having us in your home. And it was a great episode. It was definitely one of my favorites. And I thought, like, some of the stories that he was telling about, you know, when he was sort of working from True Blue Tattoo with the big Ned Kelly with the guns crossed and stuff. And the iron sleepers, so like the bullets won't come through.
Yeah, that's a whole nother era and a whole nother side of tattooing. Like, especially back then, it was just like, you know, real rough. But so sick, you know? It's cool to see that side of things. Yeah, really, really lovely dude. That was like one of the easiest episodes to like film.
Because we were a bit cooked, actually. We were a bit pooped. We'd done Greg's and Rachel's one after another at 7 a.m. and then 8 a.m.
Yeah.
And then we'd gone all through the day, gotten down to the Gold Coast. So we were totally cactus.
Yeah.
And then we've set up somewhat reluctantly because we were both so pooped.
Yeah.
And we sat down and we recorded the episode. So our eyes were bugging out of our head, but Benji did all the heavy lifting on that one.
100%. He was like...
We couldn't stop him
like a rocket.
He couldn't stop him.
He was great. We were just sitting there happily listening, you know, because sometimes everyone's different. Some people are like a bit more introverted and stuff. That happens. A lot of artists are like that. So it's kind of hard. Sometimes it takes them a little bit to get comfortable in front of like the camera and the microphone. With him, like it was so easy. We'd ask him like a question and like that was it. The next 15, 20 minutes, we were just like,
it was sick.
Intently sitting there listening. It was sweet.
I'd love to do a follow-up episode with him.
Oh, 100%.
And hear a few more of his stories. I reckon he's got heaps more.
Oh, for sure. And it's really cool to see what he's doing with Made the Suit. You know, it's cool seeing that all that extracurricular stuff in the industry. Because like tattooing, it's not just about tattooing. It's about, you know, networking and bringing people together and, you know, sharing art. And that's crazy. It's crazy what they're doing. And then, I know, we were really stoked. I was really stoked to be a part of it.
Me too, man.
It was really cool. And I'm looking forward to next year's one.
Yeah, I think hopefully we're going to hassle Benji enough to let us do a collaboration. So me and Zuzz will do half-half.
Yeah, man, maybe that could be the go. Depends on what we're doing. We haven't even made plans for next year.
Well, we're going to we've booked a trip next year to Japan.
Yeah, we're doing that.
So we're gonna go and do the sumo and go to the little pig cafes.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun.
And maybe do some podcasting.
Yeah, we don't even know what exactly is happening, but
we'll work it out.
Sick.
Yeah,
we'll figure it out.
But anyway,
Yeah. Thank you, Benji, for having us.
yes, thank you, Benji. On to back to Pete.
Back to Pete.
Pete Davidson, what a guy.
What a wealth of knowledge that guy is. He's crazy.
Now, a little bit of behind the scenes. Now, we stayed at Benji's, recorded the episode as we were cactus. Then we both passed out, woke up as early can be, and then hopped on the road to go straight to Pete Davidson
Yeah.
and got to spend some time with him. What I was really, I was a bit devo about
What?
is we stopped the podcast, we finished our episode, and we turned off the cameras and we turned off the microphones. And then Pete started coming out with this incredible information that would have
Yeah.
been golden for this podcast.
Yeah.
Some really, really, I don't know. He's like a wealth of knowledge.
It was really, really interesting, some of the stuff. I don't know if he wanted it on the record or not. Some of
Okay,
the stuff
okay.
he was talking about.
I know. That's,
But I was like, what the fuck? That's crazy.
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't
Yeah.
believe the stuff that he was telling me. If you're in and around Casino, New South Wales, go in and see him.
Yeah.
Go and meet him. Shake his hand. He is the absolute best of the best.
Yeah. He's like such a lovely person, really, really nice and really friendly. He's always open for a chat. And he loves young tattooers as well.
He does.
Yeah, which is kind of rare.
So he'd love you too.
Yeah, but really, really nice guy. I think I learnt a lot from that conversation with him, not just about like the history of it, but like kind of, I don't know, leading a good life in tattooing and kind of, I don't know, being a respectful tattooer.
Yep.
It's really, really cool. I don't know, and really inspiring. I was also listening to that episode yesterday, and I don't know, it was really, really nice getting to like, I don't know, I'm so stoked we got to chat to him.
So we finished the episode at Casino New South Wales and we had to drive back up to the Gold Coast, but I thought, Zuzz, we should go to Nimbin.
Yeah.
Now, for those that don't know about Nimbin, it's a little town in the middle of nowhere in
Yeah.
New South Wales between Casino and the Gold Coast, where marijuana is legal.
Yeah, pretty much. It's legal. They just it's not exactly like written into law, but they just don't enforce it at all.
The police don't enforce it because the whole community crowds the police if they do.
Yeah, they get upset.
So every year they have a Mardi Gras festival,
which is
and
crazy.
Every stoner in the world meets there in Nimbin.
Because I'd never heard of it. We were like on the drive down. You were telling me about. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It's so weird. So yeah, we stopped in on the way up, and that place is interesting.
Yeah, the people there are interesting. We one of our friends, her mum lives in Nimbin,
Yeah.
and they were telling us that their neighbor solely eats guinea pigs. As in, like, he like has guinea pigs.
He has a guinea pig farm, and
And
he eats them.
Eats them. He doesn't like have them for any other reason than it's like
It's food.
he believes that it's like not contaminated or whatever, and he eats guinea pigs. So very interesting place. Me and Zuzzy were walking around Nimbin for a little bit, and we got approached by several people asking if we wanted to buy drugs.
Dude, we were there for like 10 minutes, and we got offered drugs several times.
Now, I'm straight edge, so I don't drink or do drugs, and I've been sober for nearly 4 years.
Yeah.
Zuzzy doesn't do drugs either. He drinks a few beers here and there.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we're walking, and this decrepit cracky comes up to us and goes, can I sell you some bud? And I said, oh, no thanks, mate. And he goes, give me a chance to change your mind. And
What does that mean?
that scared me. Yeah. I was like, no thanks, mate. Let's put my hand up. No thanks, mate.
Bye-bye.
Give me a chance to change your mind.
I don't want to know what he meant by that.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
But he was terrifying to look at. He looked like he was from Mad Max.
Yeah. His teeth were all fucked. He was really grim looking. And yeah, I'm glad we didn't give him a chance to change our mind.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, interesting place though, right?
Yeah, it was very interesting.
We went into the there's like a weed museum bar thing, and there was some interesting people smoking some marijuana in there. We went into the shop there, and there was a bong, and it was Osama bin Laden.
Yeah, the Osama bin Laden bomb.
And I said to Zuzz, oh look, there's an Osama bin Laden bong. I said, that's the one.
Hell yeah.
That's going to give you peace.
Hell yeah, Osama bin Laden.
Yeah.
And there was
Osama
like
been smoking.
Yeah. I think there was a Bart Simpson one as well. There's so many bongs in this thing. We're all having a laugh.
It's so crazy.
Yeah.
It's such an interesting place. If you ever get the chance, go check out Nimbin.
Definitely check it out. Like, I don't think I've ever seen any place like it.
Can we dob in the tattoo shop there?
I guess so. I don't even know what the tattoo shop was called.
No, we won't name them. We won't name and shame, but we're gonna bring it up.
Yeah. We went in because we usually like to pop into tattoo shops whenever we're kind of on the road. And we were walking around Nimbin. We saw them. We're like, oh, we may as well pop in and say hello. And we walk in. The lady's like sitting right there on her iPad doing something.
No other customers in the shop
No
or
one's
no
there.
other tattooers or anything. So this one lady who didn't have many tattoos at all was sitting there on her iPad. She looked up at us and then went back to her iPad, and we were just standing there like awkwardly in the shop
Yeah.
with no music or anything. And we're just like, oh, what the heck's going on? So we're looking around, and then we just stood there for a bit longer and a bit longer and a bit longer, and a few minutes passed.
And she didn't get up to have a chat or say hello or anything.
She didn't say anything to us. She totally blanked us. And I'm like,
We just shrugged our shoulders.
we
and
just
went,
like walked out.
all right, fuck this.
We're like, bro,
Yeah.
you know what? It doesn't cost anything to just at least acknowledge people.
It's not like she was far away either. She was like literally right there.
She was like 2 or 3 meters in front of us.
That was so weird. Anyway,
Awkward, eh?
yeah. She's got a lot on her plate.
Yeah, maybe. Anyway, we left with a really sour taste in our mouth,
Yeah.
and we thought, you know what? Fuck Nimbin. No, we didn't.
No, we didn't. Nah, Nimbin was interesting.
Super interesting.
But yeah, that lady needs to say hi to people a bit more often.
It's funny though, because like I understand that like some tattooers have this like holier than thou attitude when it comes to like collectors or clients. So they'll kind of like be too cool for a client, too cool to say g'day. It's like,
Yeah.
client, you say g'day to me. You know what I mean? That kind of attitude. Now, nothing sucks more than that. Like I love the fact when someone walks through the door, whether it's a collector or a client or another tattooer or anyone, it's like, hey man, what's up? You know, what can I do for you? You know,
Yeah.
it costs nothing for that.
Yeah, kindness costs nothing. And like, you know, it's not hard to say hello and like, I don't know, treat someone with respect.
Just say g'day.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to, you know, but I don't know. It sort of felt like she was like, you know,
A lot of
you can
people-
talk to me. I'm
Yeah.
not talking to you
Well,
because
I
I'm a tattooer.
I said hello and she like nodded and went back to drawing. I'm like, oh, what the hell? This is weird. But I don't know. It's weird because like a lot of people do come into our shop and a lot of the time, like it comes up quite often. They're quite surprised that we're so happy to see them.
Yeah, because I think other shops do that kind of shit to people where
Yes.
they have this attitude where it's like, yeah, you know,
I don't know. It's weird.
yeah, I don't know. Anyway,
We're all just people. You know, we draw pictures on people for a living.
yeah, but there's like an attitude thing that it's like the dudes that used to be in rock and roll bands, but like little like local bands, and they would kind of get pretty big in the scene, in the local scene, and then they'd start like treating people the wrong way or like, you know, like acting like, you know, they were too cool to like, you know, hang out with everyone or whatever, you know.
Yeah, maybe it just goes to people's heads sometimes, but it's not hard to say hello.
Yep.
You know, it actually goes a long way, you know.
Totally does. But you know what? I actually love the contrast where, you know, that there are fuckheads like that out there in the world where then they can walk into our studio and we're like, yo, what's up, dog? What can we do for you, man? And they go, oh my God, like, wow, it's refreshing and I want to get tattooed here by these guys.
Yeah.
So it's like if everyone was like that, you know, it'd be even harder to stand out.
Oh, well. I think everyone can learn to be a bit kinder to each other. You know, the world would be a lot of a better place, you know. It's a shame. But oh well. That's what it is.
Let's keep moving. Anyway, Nimbin tattoo shop lady.
Fuck you.
Yeah, fuck you. You're not too cool for us.
I can't remember which shop it even was or what her name.
That's all right. We're
I
not
don't
going to name and shame.
No, but
We're not like that.
if she watches this, you know,
Yeah.
do better next time, lady.
Yeah, do better.
At least say hello.
Well, fucking, yeah, I don't know. If you're tattooing, different story. Whatever, who knows? Anyway, moving on. Rachy Brains, episode 8. Damn.
Hell yeah.
Damn.
That was really, really cool talking to her. Like it's always fun getting the chat to Rachie. Like, I really enjoy talking about just the art side of things with her.
Yes.
She's got a really, really cool perspective on that. And like ridiculously, hardworking and talented artist.
Incredibly talented.
Yeah.
She, last week, I got a text message from Greg, and he said Rachie wants to do a follow-up episode
Really?
because she feels like she didn't speak her mind
Okay.
properly. So I said, hell yeah, bro, let's lock it in.
Okay.
SEQ, we're going to be there. We're going to bring our podcast gear. We're going to get another episode with Rachie Brains, which will be a little bit more, I guess, her.
Yeah.
I think she filtered herself potentially for the sake of the internet, which respect to you, Rachie. I also filter myself for the internet often, and I wish I could say more.
Yeah, I guess it's tricky to truly open up in front of a camera. I think as well, it's now one of those things that, it's quite jarring for people to like sit down in front of this and,
Hear yourself in your headset as well.
Yeah, it can be quite overwhelming for a lot of people. But if she's keen to do another episode, that's awesome.
100%. We're going to do a follow-up to the Rachie Brains episode.
Yeah.
And we're going to, let her go nuts. I always tell people when they come on, I say, speak your mind, say whatever you want to say. If you want to have a spit, if you want to have a spray, you say whatever you want to say. There is no holds barred whatsoever.
Yeah.
This is a free and open space and a free and open podcast. And we're promoting everyone to be themselves to the absolute T.
100%. But yeah, it was a really, really fun and interesting chat nonetheless. Like,
I thought it was a great episode. I thought it was one of my favorites. Hearing about kind of how she got into the industry, where Greg kind of helped her and everything. Like, it's just sick, man. It's really super inspiring.
Yeah. Yeah, really, and, really, really cool. I think I kind of can identify with a lot of the things she was talking about. Just being like, a more introverted kind of artist.
Yes.
Beforehand. Like, I was kind of in the same boat. And I wouldn't have been in the tattoo industry if you hadn't reached out to me. Or maybe eventually, who knows what would have happened. But it took you to reach out to me before I even set foot in a tattoo shop.
Now, can I just quickly interject before we move on? Now, all these people that spoke to me in Sydney, I had several people say to me, I want to hear your story and I want to hear Zuzz's story. So I would think it would be interesting, like, put that on ice.
Yeah.
Because I'd like to do an episode where I'm somewhat talking to you. Like right now we're talking together. I would love an episode where I'm somewhat having you on as a guest and vice versa.
Yeah, I think that'd be fun to do. Like, I guess we spend a lot of time talking about other people and other guests. There are, you were telling me we had a few people that wanted to hear about us, which is interesting. you know? It's
so
cool.
we can have a like a Zuzzy episode and a Jake episode.
Yeah, that'll be for the future.
Yep.
So yeah,
keep your ears peeled.
Hell yeah.
Anyway, sorry to interject.
No, it's all right. But yeah, I think I think that Rachie episode was really cool. Just talking about the art side of things and her process. She still works mostly on paper.
Yes.
Which I think is more like a tactile thing. Like, paper is really, really fun to draw on, and like it just has a particular feeling to it, that you don't really get from an iPad. So I can relate a lot to that. I don't always have the chance to draw on paper. Like, I don't sleep at the same place every night. So like,
because Zuzzy is homeless.
Yeah.
He sleeps under your local bridge.
Yeah, I got to find a good park bench. But when I do get the opportunity to draw on paper and I have the time to do that for a client, I feel like it's a lot funner.
Yes.
Just doing that kind of sketchy phase and then like refining it. And I don't know, it's super cool, and it's sick that she still does that.
100%. And Zuzzy does actually have a home. He's actually got multiple, so he jumps between two.
Yeah. No, half the time I stay at my partner's place and half the time I'm at home. So
yep,
it's hard to like kind of dictate and have all my shit in one place.
Yep, 100%.
But super cool. Super cool talking to her about that.
I'm really like stoked that she agreed to do it, because she is like somewhat introverted when it comes to that kind of stuff. Like her and Greg are like the perfect yin yang, the They're perfect. They balance each other out really nicely.
Yeah.
But yeah, super thankful that Rachie and Greg both came on the podcast and were open and minded enough to talking to us. I really kind of was really interested to hear what they had to say.
Yeah. Yeah. They're really lovely people. And I don't know, they were just over in the States,
Yes.
which is cool.
Yep.
They literally just got back from that. It's cool. It's cool seeing them with so many, big name tattooers that we all know and love.
Yeah, there was a photo with them and Derek Noble and Paul Doberman.
Yeah, I saw that too. I was like, sick. That's
like,
awesome.
Unreal.
Yeah.
Unreal.
So rad.
The amount of stories in that room
Yeah.
that would have been at the NYC Tattoo Con, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It looked crazy.
Yeah, super cool.
Unreal. So yeah, proud of her. She's fucking.
Yeah,
killing
good on
it.
you, Rach.
Yeah.
Woo, good on you, Greg, too.
Yeah, and Greg's
We're
right
proud of
there
you,
too.
bro.
So sick.
Yeah.
But they were both really lovely guests to have on, and I'm keen to chat to her more.
Yes, with
Yeah.
a follow-up episode.
Yeah.
We're going to get the real untold story about Rachie Brains.
Yeah. Keep your ears peeled.
Lucky last, episode 9 was Los Sanchez.
Yeah. That dude has some stories. Holy.
You know what? Now, listening back on it, I think it was the funniest episode that we've ever recorded
You reckon?
because he's such a hoot.
Dude. He's a really, really interesting and funny dude.
He had some wonderful stories to tell. And yeah, listening back, I couldn't stop laughing. It's just weird and kooky and very, very cool.
Yeah, crazy. He was talking about driving all the way. Was it the Nullarbor that he was driving?
Yep.
And yeah, he pulled up in that rest stop and had that really creepy bloke.
Really creepy encounter,
Yeah.
which you can hear on the Los Sanchez episode, which is episode 9 of season 2.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just ran into him at the Sydney Tattoo Con.
Yeah, sick. How was he?
Yeah, really good. So I ran into him and we were chatting heaps.
Yeah.
And then I found out later, I saw on his Instagram that it was his birthday.
Oh, really?
And I'd seen him the next day and I said, dude, was it your birthday yesterday? And he's like, yeah. I was like, why didn't you tell me? So I could have said happy birthday to you and bought you a beer or something. He's like, nah, I'm not going to do that. I said, dude, we could get you one of those little birthday sashes.
Yeah.
Unreal. But damn, at the expo, saw so many wonderful people.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was
100%.
incredible, man.
Yeah. I was looking at it from the outside. I thought, oh, man, that's so sick. I'd definitely be keen to do that next year if they would have me. But yeah, I couldn't do it so close to the Perth Expo and also SEQ. I think I'd just burn myself out.
Yep. Because we're in Perth next weekend or this weekend.
This weekend.
Perth.
Yeah, we fly out tomorrow.
Yes. So we're coming for you, Perth.
Mm-hmm.
I am absolutely chock-a-block with tats.
Yeah, it's going to be really fun.
So it's only a 2-day expo. So I've got 3 big tattoos on each day.
Yeah. I'm kind of chilling out and doing walk-ups and stuff. I'm bringing a really big pork chop sheet, which I'm in the middle of painting. I'm going to get that nailed out. It's going to be sick. Yeah. I haven't been to Perth before, so.
And you've got a big dope banner, a new banner for the expo. That's sick. This is actually going to air after the expo. So
100%. Yeah.
I'm sure everyone who's listening to this has already seen your big banner and said, wow, what a big banner.
Yeah. That's very big.
Is that Zuzz?
It's so interesting. No one knows how to pronounce it.
Yep.
They're always unsure.
Because I think in your episode that we interview you, I think we'll ask you about the proper pronunciation and where it came from.
Yeah.
The name Zuzz.
Yeah. Zuzzy.
Because a lot of people come through and they don't know what's up. Hi, I've got an appointment with Zeus. I say, I'll grab Zeus for you.
Yeah. Go up to Mount Olympus.
Yep.
And go grab him.
He's got lightning bolts out of his fucking... Taste my lightning.
Oh, hell yeah.
But we'll kind of touch on that on your episode, I think, man.
Yeah.
Which I'm going to assume is potentially going to be in season 4, which is going to be after season 3.
Yeah, it's going to be a while away. Sorry, guys.
We really, though, appreciate everyone that's stuck with us for these 20 episodes. If you've listened to every single episode, reach out, send us a DM, and I'm going to give you a crisp thumbs up on Instagram. I'm just going to send you a thumbs up. But reach out.
Yeah.
And we'd love to hear from you. If you haven't already, like and share and subscribe and send it to everyone you know.
Yeah. If there's anyone you guys want to hear from, you should also let us know. You know, give us some suggestions and stuff. We really appreciate it because we're kind of just like, a lot of the time we're interviewing whoever comes along. If we see an opportunity, we'll kind of take it. And a lot of the people, luckily enough, who have come along have been really, really cool and big name tattooers.
Yes.
Like Sanchez, I think he hit you up like the week beforehand because he was doing this big tour of Australia, driving around, and he got to Cairns and had heard good things about us.
He had heard from Maylee.
Yep.
She's a tattooer up in Darwin and a few other tattooers around Australia that said, if you're going to Cairns, you got to see Royal Blue Tattoo.
Yep.
Which is, I personally think, a bloody wondrous place.
That goes all right. It's pretty cool here.
We've got lots of flash to look at. We've got lots of designs. We've got good times always.
Hell yeah.
And Sanchez had a great time here. It was sad to see him go.
Yeah, it was a pretty short trip before he was headed off down south. I think he had to be back in time for that Sydney Expo.
Yeah.
But the few days that we had him here was so much fun. We were going out and you went to the Cock and Bull with him.
Yeah, so he every night he was saying, yo, you guys want to go for a beer? And like, I don't drink. So I said, oh, well, I'll have a lemonade. And he finally twisted my rubbery arm. He said, come on, let's go for a beer. I said, all right, I'll go for a lemonade. And I took him to a place in Cairns called the Cock and Bull, which is a pretty funny name because it sounds like cock and balls.
Yeah.
But took him to the Cock and Bull because our friend Sam at Servine on Instagram, every time he comes to Cairns, he spends every single night there. He loves the Cock and Bull. They do big food and it's like a museum in there where they've got like, it's almost like a tattoo shop, but it's a bar.
Yeah, they got loads of like taxidermy and stuff. There's like lions and shit.
Yeah, there's a big bison head. There's a lion with like an antelope kill and big fish. There's like marlins that they've like taxidermy that are like longer than your bloody house.
Yeah.
Anyway, I thought I'll take Sanchez to the Cock and Bull because like all the Cairns locals don't really like it. It's just like kind of a place that's always been there. But for out of towners, it's really an interesting place and people really like it.
Yeah.
So we went to the Cock and Bull and we had a hell of a time. And we were walking around there was like this like a fisherman's room. So it's like all the fish taxidermy. And Sanchez was saying, he goes, I reckon back in the day, you wouldn't even be allowed in here unless you were a fisherman. I said, yeah, I reckon so too, man. It would have been like this like elite private club thing.
Probably.
And there's pictures of like grandma like holding up a big like, you know, like a whatever kind of fish, huge fishes. It's insane. Anyway, took Sanchez there. He was so stoked, had a great time. And we were just chilling, having a few drinks. I was having a lemonade. He was having beers. And then we had a guy in the smoking area. It's on the rough side of town, right?
Yeah, it is.
And this guy in the smoking area came up to us and he goes, you must be tattooers. And I was wearing a Black Throne tattoo shirt. And I said, nah, mate. And he goes, oh, yes, you are. And I said, nah, mate, we're not, mate. And I said, I'm a plumber. And Sanchez was just like looking around and laughing. And this guy ended up pulling a stump and sitting with us. And he proceeded to punish us heavily and was telling us crazy shit like that when he was a kid, his dad used to take him into the ocean to listen for submarines. And that a Russian sub and a Korean sub make different noises. A Korean sub goes... and then a Russian sub goes, and we couldn't get a word in edgewise. This guy was definitely high on crystal methamphetamine, and I thought, how are we gonna dip out? How are we gonna leave? Because this guy's like stuck to us now.
Yeah.
So I said, I got to go to the toilet, and I ducked out to the toilet. I didn't actually go to the toilet. I just stood there for a bit, and then I came back out and I said, all right, Sanchez, let's hit it, mate. And then Sanchez ended up bailing as well, but. Yep, interesting night at the Cock and Bull.
Yeah. That's a classic. That's a regular at the Cock and Bull.
Yeah.
Old submarine Sam.
Yeah, it was it's tricky because like when you're in public as a tattooer, you don't want to get, otherwise you end up like just doing free consults the whole night. If you tell someone you're a tattooer, you're in trouble.
Yeah, it can be tricky. It's hard. Like people walking into a tattoo shop, like it's a different story, but like You go to any party or anything like that, as soon as someone finds out you're a tattooer, you're stuck there kind of talking to them about
Every tattoo they've ever wanted.
Yeah, and that nothing ever comes of it because they're kind of drunk and they won't remember you at all. You know, I had plenty of those conversations like, oh yeah, cool, dude. Well, if you want to come in the store and, you know, we can suss it out and book it in or something like that. Never happens.
No.
Never happens. So sometimes it is easier to just be like, nah, I work in retail.
Yeah, I'm a plumber.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
it's
just
a way.
for your own peace of mind. I don't know. Sometimes it's hard. It's important to have that kind of separation and be able to go out in public and not be harangued about your job constantly.
Yeah. Having boundaries is important.
Yeah.
I always tell my friends, I'll usually say if we're going out to a nightclub or whatever, I'll say to my friends, I'm like, don't fucking tell anyone that I'm a tattooer. Just don't do it. Because I'm not going to say it. Because otherwise you just get smashed.
Yeah, I don't mind it every now. Like if it's some situations I don't mind it, but I mean if it's some submarine Sam who's high on crystal meth, then yeah, nah,
it's not happening.
Nah,
no, but anyone.
Yeah,
I just won't do free consults out and about.
Yeah,
I'll do a free consult in the store. Come see me.
Yeah, come in during shop hours.
Yep, we
might be lucky. We might actually be there. We might not be on the road.
What are you talking about, mate? We're only closed 3 weeks out of every month.
Yeah.
It's funny. I get a lot of emails of people saying, are you guys even a thing anymore? Are you guys open? What's the deal?
We're always on the road, eh? Oh, it's so funny.
Because I just spent the last 2 weeks not here.
Yeah.
And then I came, I'm home for 4 days, but I'm in the shop for 1 day. I did my tattoo today. And then we're on a plane tomorrow out to Perth till next week. Till next Wednesday, we're back.
Just balls to the wall, man.
Yep.
It's the way. But yeah, you guys, you and Sanchez went out to the Cock and Bull. I went out and had a beer with him. We had a few beers actually. And we played some pool. He's a really good pool player.
Who won?
It was a tie actually.
Okay.
Yeah, it got to like, I think we won like 2 games each. And then someone else asked us for the pool table. And we're like, we're kind of done anyway.
Pool is a great game if you're drinking beers.
Yeah.
But like, I can't stand pool anymore. As a sober man, it's not a sober man's game. Like, I'm sure the people that play in like the pro leagues are sober, obviously. But like, it's a game that's better when you're drinking and you're like, you kind of get your eye in after a couple of beers. But I tell you what, man, I can't stand it. Ever since being sober, I've played 1 game of pool and that was with you, and that was by accident.
To be good at it, you kind of got to be a bit of a pisshead. I don't know. It's so funny because you ever watch those? I get them on my feed all the time, like the professional like billiards games.
Trick shotters?
Yeah. Or like people playing darts, like the professional darts competitions. And they're always some like beer-bellied like pisshead you'd see in the local pub. And he's just like a world-class darts player. And you're like, you definitely know the kind of like where he spends most of his time.
Yep.
And the same goes for pool. They're always like, you'd expect him to be like, someone's dad or something like that.
For sure.
There's bloody Martin who spends 90% of his time down the pub and he's like, just a gun.
Man, to be a gun at pool.
But yeah, we were having a fun time that night. We were having a good chat about just tattoos and stuff. We didn't get accosted that night, funnily enough.
Where did you go?
We went to PJ O'Brien's.
Okay. Shout out to PJ's.
Yeah, PJ's is always fun. I like it, and now I'll get a Guinness or 2.
Yep.
Yeah, that was super fun. We were just talking about all things tattoo related. But yeah, really, really lovely dude.
Absolutely. Sanchez, thank you so much for coming to our studio. It was great to meet you and become friends.
Yeah.
I was stoked to see him in Sydney.
100%. Really, really funny dude, full of really cool stories. If you haven't listened to that episode yet, give it a whirl. It's fucking funny as.
Yep. He told me a really like wholesome story when I was actually out and about with him about how he saved a cat when he was like little.
Really?
And these kids were throwing rocks at a cat and it was in the middle of a lake like drowning, and he swam out and grabbed it.
Jeez.
And like saved a cat. He's a really good dude. If you ever see him, buy him a beer and say, that's for the kitty cat, mate, that you saved when you were a little kid.
Hell yeah.
Respect.
What a
Yeah.
what a man.
That was season 2,
Yeah. And now that brings us to this episode.
where you are listening to us right now.
Yeah.
I tell you what, man,
It was fun.
we're out here.
Yeah. It was a really, really good time.
I've had way more fun than I'd like to admit, and I'm so thankful that I've done it with you by my side, my friend.
Ah, thank you, dude. Likewise.
We've traveled some,
Yeah.
we've laughed some, we've cried some. Not really,
No, not really.
but you know, it's
been
been a hoot, man. Season 2's been a really good time, and I've had an absolute blast.
Likewise, dude. Like, I don't know. Super fun. I've gotten to meet so many really cool tattooers in this very short period of time. Not just like tattooing, but like doing this podcast especially. And I'm really looking forward to where it goes next. You know, we've got some really big plans, and some really cool people that are booked in.
Yep, and I just can't wait to release the information on what we're going to be doing next.
You guys don't even know. It's crazy.
So it's a hell of a time, but season 3 will be out early next year, hopefully.
Yeah.
We are going to take our time with it, make sure it's perfect before we air it. We are getting better at this, I feel.
Yeah.
From season 1, which was super rushed out and somewhat not very well planned, to season 2 being quite well planned. And yeah, I don't know, made I don't know, it was much better. Season 3, I feel, is going to be way more, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's going to be exciting. I think people are going to be really about it. But yeah, give us some feedback. If there's anything that we can improve on, or any guests you'd like to hear from, or, you know, anything at all, let us know. And give it a share, you know. Show your friends, put it on your story or whatever. Share it around. Share the love. It really, really goes a long way.
Jump on YouTube and press subscribe and like.
Yeah.
Comment on things. It really does rely heavily on our audience to consume it, but also to help us move it along by sharing it and bringing more people into it.
100%.
There's only so much we can really do, but we give so much of a shit about this podcast, and we give so much of a shit about you guys that are listening to us.
Yeah.
And I was so stoked the fact that at the Sydney Expo, all these people were coming up and like just random fucking people, man.
Dude.
And saying, hey, dude, like I know you from the podcast or whatever, you know, like I feel deep in my bones that this podcast could potentially be way bigger than you and me. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, I think
way bigger than our tattoo work.
Yeah, it has the potential. Who knows? Really, yeah, who knows what the future holds with it, especially with next season coming.
Well, yeah, that's the tipping point, isn't it?
Yeah. It's gonna be cool. It's gonna be really, really fun. And we're just so stoked that you're all enjoying it. Super, super thankful.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. I think we're gonna wrap it up.
Yeah.
That's season 2 of Rats Get Fat. Have yourselves a wonderful evening or day or morning or whatever time of day it is.
Yeah.
And we'll catch you on the flip side.
Yeah. Take care. We'll see you in a few months, I guess, in the new year.